The Syrian government has fallen in a stunning and sudden end to the 50-year rule of the Assad family. The lightning offensive by jihadist rebels seized President Bashar al-Assad's seat of power, Damascus, just hours ago. Syria's armed opposition has declared that the country is now free of a tyrant, and there are reports President Assad has fled the country. We'll have analysis from the ABC's Global Affairs editor John Lyons shortly, but we begin tonight with our correspondent Eric Tlozek on the Syrian border.
Jubilation and celebration in the capital. Fighters alongside Damascus locals dance on top of tanks in the city's main square. Huge crowds gather as news of the regime's demise spreads. Thousands waving and chanting as the rebels declare the city free of a tyrant. In a video statement broadcast on Syrian state television, rebel fighters say President Bashar al-Assad has been overthrown and all detainees in jails have been set free. The collapse of the Syrian government brings to a stunning end the brutal 50-year rule of the Assad family. As rebels moved suburb to suburb in Damascus, symbols and statues of the regime were torn down in triumph. The lightning blitz led by the Islamist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham started just 8 days ago when they stunned government forces and seized Aleppo. As the country's second largest city fell, the Syrian regime called in its allies Russia and Iran. But the opposition forces fought on southward, last night taking control of Homs, which opened the road to Damascus. Assad's seat of power fell just as quickly. The Syrian Army Command has reportedly notified officers that Bashar al-Assad's rule has ended. There are reports that President Assad has fled Damascus by plane and nobody knows where he is. These Syrians here in Turkey, they don't care. They're just happy that he's gone. With the collapse complete, videos emerged of Assad's forces fleeing the country, some into neighbouring Iraq. Once heavily fortified checkpoints, now deserted. Syria's Prime Minister has issued a video statement saying he's ready to extend his hand to the opposition to form a transitional government.
The need for an orderly political transition has never been more urgent, starting with the urgent formation of inclusive and credible transitional arrangements in Syria.
The last day of authoritarian rule and hopefully the end of a bloody 13-year civil war.
Let's bring in Eric Tlozek now, who's near the Syrian border in Turkey. Eric, what are you seeing there tonight?
Enormous celebrations, Jeremy. Behind me you can see there's people dancing in the streets. They're singing, they're saying Syria is free. I'm in a town that's full of Syrian refugees very close to the border, and these scenes are being replicated right across Turkey, where there are millions of Syrian refugees, many who haven't seen their homes and families for at least 8 years, since the fall of Aleppo. So the overwhelming feeling is one of relief and joy. There's obviously concern about how stable Syria will be in the future and how will it be governed. But right now, as I've said, they're just joyous scenes and celebrations right across Turkey, and I'm sure inside Syria as well.
And Eric, have we heard yet from the United States or any of Syria's allies?
So the US, the White House says President Joe Biden is monitoring the events closely, described them as extraordinary, and is talking to regional partners. Australia has urged all the parties involved to step back from further violence and move towards a UN-sponsored process, a transitional government. Nobody wants to see the loss of life in Syria increase. There's already been hundreds of thousands of people killed in this civil war. This next phase is obviously critically important, and the great hope is that a change in Syria will be achieved without any further violence.
Eric Tlozek reporting.